Hello, everybody. This is Brian Ankney with AutoSuccess magazine. I appreciate you all taking the time today to join us for an AutoSuccess webinar. Today, my special guest is Noel Walsh, a friend of mine from Utah. Noel actually has a very interesting story. For quite some time, and when I first met Noel lived in Utah, but he sold cars in Michigan. And you know, I think that it's a pretty unique story because I don't know that I've ever met anyone else who sold cars on another side of the country from where they actually live. And what Noel was very good at was maintaining his customer base, and he did a lot of leases and a lot of trucks, and so he worked by appointment. Noel would go and live in Utah for half of the month, and then he would go to Michigan and deliver 20 or 30 cars every month, just by staying in touch with his customers, by constantly giving them better deals, better lease payments, and he really built a very successful business. Now Noel is in the business of helping others to do the same. And so today we are going to be talking about, and this is kind of a Valentine's theme. To be a successful salesperson, you have to have a love affair with your job and your customers. And Noel's success was greatly due to his love affair with his job, his dealership, and his customers. Now, before we get started, a couple of things I'd like to go over with you. There's a question box near. If you're on a PC or a laptop or a tablet, you'll have a pane that goes on the right side of your screen that says "Go to Webinar." Near the bottom, you'll see questions. Hit the plus sign. Type in questions as we go. That way, we've got some great questions as soon as the presentation's over, because we're going to address them all at the end. But please type them in as we go. Now, if you are on a smartphone or some other device, it varies from Apple to Android, and then within Android, it varies from device to device. So somewhere you're either going to have a pane at the top, a pane at the bottom, or a picture frame around your screen. Tap the plus sign. I'm sorry, the question mark. That'll let you ask questions. Some devices you can swipe it away. Others you have to click a little monitor-looking icon to go back to the presentation. Now, one more thing before we get started. If you haven't joined AutoSuccess webinars on Facebook yet, please do. There's multiple functions of AutoSuccess webinars on Facebook. One, you'll never miss another webinar because we post them all there. And then more importantly is, you're going to, on every webinar, this one and all the others, you're going to learn, lots of things that require multiple steps to improve your business. And so I encourage you to interact with each other on AutoSuccess webinars on Facebook as you try new things. Share your successes, share your failures, learn from each other, so we can all, have a love affair with our customers. With that being said, I'd like to hand the reins over to Noel. Noel, please take us away, my friend.
Yes, well, first off, Brian, thank you for having me and AutoSuccess Online and AutoSuccess Magazine. It's been a pleasure knowing you and doing some work together with you, and I am honored to be on your show. And yes, the theme for today's webinar tied into Valentine's Day, and I put 3 different options out for my clients, and this was the one that everyone voted on. And people all want to know how to be a successful salesperson, and they want to know the word tracks. They want to know how to fast track there. And all the greatest I've seen in the business just really have a love affair for their job, which they treat as a career, and really serving and taking care of their customers. So that's where I came up with the title, To Be a Successful Salesperson, You Have to Have a Love Affair with Your Job and Your Customers. So we will get started here. So first off, you need to treat your sales job as a sales career. I think car sales is guilty of this more than probably any other sales industry, that most of the talent we have in our industry is looking at it as a job. And they're simply there for a job, for a paycheck, for, as some would call, easy money, until something better comes along or a management position comes along. And I know a lot of salespeople out there who make well into deep 6 figures, and they can basically go on a vacation for a week every month. They basically set their own schedule, and they are the only ones that control their income. So they don't have to rely on their staff or anybody else to control their income. It's all about treating your sales job is a sales career. One way to do that is use your day to your advantage and don't wait for your day to end. And we know this in car sales, that most car salespeople utilize about 15 to 20% of their day. And the other 85, 80%, they're waiting to get out of work, they're waiting to go home, they're waiting to hang out with their buddies, whatever it is, that they aren't using their day to their advantage. They're waiting for their day to end. And when you truly take advantage of your day and utilize every minute of it with proper processes, with a schedule, with goals and a plan to accomplish that goal every day, you will make the most of your day and you will take advantage of it. What most people don't realize is sales is the highest paid profession in the world. I bring this up all the time. It gets people excited, but most importantly, it gets people focused that they can make more than any other profession in the world. And the greatest thing about sales is you dictate your own paycheck. You control your income. And what you put in is what you get out. And once again, so many people in sales want things to come easy. They want to accomplish success overnight. They don't want to do the steps and investing in your career, your time, your talent, and your energy in your career to become a professional and not just a salesperson. And I always say that there's a difference. There's salespeople who are waiting on internet leads, they're waiting on phone ups, they're waiting on lot traffic, and then there are sales professionals who are prospecting, who have a clientele, who keep in touch with their customers, who follow up on every lead, and they really, truly take advantage of their career and act like a professional. You do have to love what you do and grow to do it better every day. And I've got Live Life Elevated there, which is Utah's slogan. And I've talked about this before. When we moved to Utah from Michigan, and we saw that the state's motto was Life Elevated, we're like, how cool is that? And you really have to love what you do, and you have to be passionate about it, and you have to be enthusiastic about it, and you have to have energy. And when you have those three things, your customers see that, and your customers appreciate that, and your customers will feed off that and almost become addicted to it, to where you have the addicted customer, where they want to come back and see you more often and refer people to you because of the feeling that you give them and the energy that you permeate. So you have to love what you do, and you grow to do it better every day. You have to constantly invest in yourself. You have to constantly focus on how to get better. You have to streamline your processes, and you always have to keep the customer first. You know, your customers are your greatest resource, and they're the ones that are feeding you and your family, paying rent and mortgage, paying for the car payment, paying for insurance. It comes from your employer, but it comes from the customer. And so we have to realize that customers are our greatest resource, and you should be marketing and prospecting your previous customers for repeat business and referral business, because when you've taken good care of them, they want to refer you to their friends and family and their network. They want to come back and buy off you. And sometimes it's just the soft touches. A text here and there, message them on Facebook on their birthday, Send out a birthday card. Send mail quarterly. Just stay in touch with the customer, a periodic phone call. Customers just want to know that we care, and we're truly there to serve them and not just sell them, because 85% of the customers believe that salespeople simply don't care about their wants or needs, and they just want a sale. And when you prove that you are truly there to serve them and accommodate them to the best of your ability, they realize that they are your resource, and they want to help you grow your business, your name, and your success. When you truly serve your customers, they will serve all your needs. And this is a quote I wrote here, probably my favorite quote I've ever wrote. When you inspire people, you will bring out the very best they can be, and they will give you the very best they have. And I can't talk about this enough, that customers want to be appreciated. Customers want to know we care. Customers want to know that we're stable, and that if they do have a problem in service or the body shop, or they've got a question about their vehicle, they want to know that they have somebody they can turn to. They want to know somebody that they have somebody they can call, that they can text on a Sunday, that they can call on Sunday night, that will call them back and is truly there to serve them, not only through the sales process, but after the sale, with any problems that they might run into, any hiccups they might have, any questions they might have, periodic advice and guidance. You know, I used to have people when I sold cars that would come in every time they got a new phone because they didn't know how to repair it. And that made their day. And honestly, half of the time those people came in, they sent me a referral within 3 months. And I always teach that you want to call back a hot lead, and you want to call back an angry service customer with the same enthusiasm and with the same time frame. You want to call them back as soon as you're available, as soon as you can, and jump on that, whether it's a sale or an issue, right away. And we can't always give customers their ideal answer they're looking for, exactly what they're wanting, exactly the payment they want to pay, fix all the problems they have in service. But if we go back and work with the service advisor or the service manager, maybe get them a small discount, maybe get them future oil changes or future coupons for service, they'll see that we tried, because we can't always accommodate what everybody wants, but we can show that we are giving the effort to at least get them something. And when people call us, they always want something, whether they want an answer, whether they want a discount, whatever it is, when they call us, they want something. And most of the time, we can't give them exactly what they want, but if we prove that we make the effort to at least help them, they appreciate that. And, you know, our customers are our greatest resource. And when we focus on that, we will have more and more customers, and we will have more repeat and referral business. Focus on what gets you paid, your customers and your skill level. So like I just talked about, customers, have a love affair with your customers. Truly appreciate your customers. Know what they do for you, your family, your success, your employer, your employees. Know that customers are what get us paid. In every retail business, it's our customers. And focus on your skill level. You know, I teach sales training, and I have an online sales training course, and I hear so many of these professionals or seasoned pros, and they say, oh, I know everything, I don't need to learn anymore. And you know, you have to constantly be growing. I always use this line, and I share it with my dealers a lot. I go, there's two things I see true about the car business. Everything changes and nothing changes. And that's an oxymoron, but as far as the trends are constantly changing. I got in the business in 2000. The internet was almost unheard of. Now, 99% of customers do research, get pricing, and contact dealers online before they buy. So the trends are constantly changing. Know that you have to focus on your skill level and change with the trends. Now, on the other hand, what I don't think ever changes is how people like to be treated and responded to, right? Everybody likes to feel like they're getting a fair deal, that they're being listened to, that their wants and needs and ultimately the convenience and satisfaction that they're looking for is your number one priority to give them. And so ultimately, I don't think people like to be treated really any different than they did 50 years ago, 70 years ago. They just want to know that the salesperson is listening, the salesperson has their best interest in mind, and the salesperson is there to serve their wants and needs and offer the convenience and satisfaction they are looking for. So focus on what gets you paid, your customers and your skill level. The moment you think you don't have to grow any further or you know it all, you're going backwards and you plateaued out. Pay little attention to what you don't care about or don't care for. What you don't care for will not get you paid. One of the problems I see in car dealerships, talking to salespeople, talking to management, and even reflecting back on my own career, is so many salespeople want to focus on stuff they can't change, stuff that's inevitable, a kink in the system. They want to focus so much energy and attention on that. They want to get together in a huddle and complain about it for half of the day, knowing it's not going to change. That will not get you paid. All that's going to do is ruin your attitude for the day, take your focus off something positive, and keep your focus on that turn in the road. You know, focus forward. Keep pushing forward. You know, where focus goes, energy flows. So if you are focusing and paying so much attention on stuff that bothers you, this will not get you paid. This will ruin your attitude. It will ruin others' attitudes. And when you do get a customer, they're going to sense that negative attitude and they are not going to respond well. So pay little attention to what you don't care for, because this will not get you paid. Enjoying your job makes for happy and fulfilling days. So like we talked about in the beginning of the webinar, is, you know, treat your sales job as a sales career. And utilize your day. Make the most out of your day. Energy, enthusiasm, passion. Love what you do. Learn to become better at what you do. When you have a filled day, a filled schedule, that makes for a happy and fulfilling day. When you have nothing going on, you don't know what to do, you don't have anyone to call, there's no one coming on the lot, You have miserable days. 8-hour days seems like it's 12 hours. A 10-hour day seems like it's 15 hours. And you go home and you have no energy because you did nothing. And I remember this in my sales career. Before I learned how to fulfill my days and maximize my days and create a process that kept me busy all day and setting appointments all day, that I would go home on a slow day where traffic was non-existent and I was exhausted. I was exhausted from boredom. Now, on the other hand, I remember days where I set 8 appointments, sold 5 cars, ran around like crazy all day, didn't have a chance to eat a meal, and I went home so pumped up and wired up and excited because I was truly in loving my job. I was passionate about what I was doing, and I was making for fulfilling days. Days where I left with confidence and knew that I maximized that day and utilized that day to its fullest. So enjoying your job, knowing how to fill your day, makes for happy and fulfilling days. I can't talk enough about taking care of your customers, and like I said for Valentine's Day, having a love affair with your customers. Truly love your customers. And you know, I always found a way to love something different about each and every customer. Even if it was that old guy who came in, wanted to beat me up on price all day, didn't smile, I learned to appreciate him. I learned to appreciate something about him because that guy was loyal. Even though he came in there, he wanted to argue and negotiate and butt heads all day, he was loyal. And I always took care of him. And when you realize to love something about each one of your customers, something special, they're a great mom, they're a giving father, they're a hard worker, they're a great student, and you focus on that, the stuff that comes up that you might not appreciate about them doesn't bother you because you focus on what you love about that customer. And taking care of your customers creates repeat and referral business. And we all know, and I've heard many different stats, but your closing ratio doubles, triples, quadruples with repeat business and nearly there with referral business because you don't have to break the ice. On a repeat customer, the relationship's already built. On a referral, they already have an idea of who you are and how you handle your business. And when you take care of your customers, this creates lasting relationships. And I remember when I sold cars, you know, as I sold people more cars and longer lasting relationships, the negotiation went down. The time to negotiate was less. My commission went up. Just my objections went down. The whole process became easier because when you create lasting relationships, you create mutual trust and respect, where the customer respects us, they respect our product, they respect our dealership, they respect our service department, they respect our body shop, and we respect them. We respect what they do for a living. We respect their family. And when you create mutual trust and respect, you know, everybody says build a friend to make a sale. And I always say build respect. Because when I pick a doctor, he or she doesn't need to be my best friend. But I need to respect them in their profession, and I'm their patient for life. So create mutual trust and respect. And when you do these things, you take care of your customers, you're creating repeat and referral business, you're creating lasting relationships, you're creating mutual trust and respect. That creates residual income. And there's nothing better than knowing in sales that if you just call people back and handle your business the way you have in the past, and hopefully a little better every year, you're going to make $50, $60, $70, $80, $100,000 plus whatever else you get. So it's all about taking care of your customers, and in the end, you will create residual income. And I always say, and I've got a line, and I learned this from a story we used to read to my daughter, and it said, take off your boots and spread your roots. And I always tell people, if you can, stick with one product and one store, and you'll reach success faster than if you bounce around. Customers like knowing that when they visit a dealership or call up for a salesperson, that salesperson is going to be there. They love knowing that. People like familiarity. They don't want to, believe me, customers do not want to go out and go through a whole store's process each and every time they buy a vehicle. Very few want to do that. But when you make it that you bounce around a lot, customers don't want to search for us either. They aren't private investigators. They want to call you on your cell phone. They want to send you a text, an email, call the dealership and state your name, and have you be on the other line and set an appointment. And so when you stick with one product and one store, you'll reach success faster than if you bounce around. It shows stability. Everyone likes dealing with stable people. And that is my presentation. To be a successful salesperson, you have to have a love affair with your job and your customers.
Well, no, that was great. I hope everybody enjoyed that and learned a lot. You know, I agree with you 100%. Noel. You know, it seems like you know in our industry, there's more people that move than stay. And in an article in our magazine recently, someone had the statistic that that the sales floor at a dealership, the average is 72% turnover per year, which means that 7 out of 10 people on the floor aren't going to be there next year. So it kind of made me think, what an opportunity for the 3 that are, because the 7 people are going to leave, and now they've got you've got customer base that's coming back that salesperson's gone. So the 7 that left, shame on them. The 3 that are there, they've got a gold mine. With that, I'd like to invite everybody to start asking some questions now. Looks like somebody says, thanks for sharing. Let me open this up so I can see these better. Good job. Thank you from Diane. Thanks for sharing from Terso. I came in a few minutes late. What were the first 2 points made from Kenitra? You want to address that, Noel?
Yeah, so the first 2 points were treat your sales job as a sales career and truly own it as a career. Have a love affair for your job that you want to make it a career. We see so many salespeople, like you said, 7 out of 10 leave in a year, and we see so many salespeople that they're in it for the quick money, a quick paycheck, and until something better comes along. Treat your sales job as a sales career and be one of those last 3 standing at the end of the year who gets to get all that residual business and other people's customers who are coming back. And then use your day to your advantage and not waiting for the day to end. And I think 90% of salespeople are guilty of this, at least 80%. And every salesperson at one point in their career has been guilty of that. But I teach process, have processes, have daily goals, have a plan to accomplish those goals, and take action. Whether it's work in the service lane, going out and prospecting, sending out mail, asking for orphan list, and making phone calls. Use your day to your advantage and fill your day, because when you're using 90% of a day, you are so much more successful when you do get that fresh customer, that customer on the lot, that phone lead, that internet lead, and you're not just simply waiting for the day to end.
All right. How many referrals per customer should be a goal?
You know, at delivery?
Yeah.
And, you know, I teach go after referrals at ideal times. And in fact, I remember early in my career, I would go for referrals early. And sometimes I'd end up losing the deal because I was more focused on getting those names than handling and finishing out the deal. So I teach go for referrals at the end, maybe hint around about referrals through the process, through the sale. At the end, go for referrals. You know, I think 1 or 2 good referrals at the time of delivery would be good. I think through your follow-up process, though, I always say that when we're giving customers stuff, we're doing a follow-up, we're being kind, we're asking about their day, the first trip they're going to take their new vehicle on. That gives us the ability to effectively ask for a referral. Because, you know, so many people don't like it when right away you're like, hey, give me 10 names. Who do you have that would want to buy from me? It's easing into it. And I would rather have quality referrals than quantity of referrals. So a lot of people teach, get your customer to grab their phone and give you 50 or 100 names. That to me is similar to cold calling, because out of those 100 names, maybe 10 are in the market in the near future. Maybe 5 of those people would want to hear from you and the other 5 wouldn't. So I would rather get 10 quality referrals of truly identifying and having the customer identify who they know that might be looking for a vehicle and would appreciate the level of service that you give as a salesperson, that you give to your customers, and truly slow them down that way. Because if you slow them down that way, they'll think about it and they'll give you higher quality referrals. And oftentimes you can have them text them, call them, let them know that you're going to be contacting them, and really give you a kind of a nice build-up, a nice bio. You know, we dealt with Noah Walsh. He was a great guy. He kept the kids entertained, was very knowledgeable, answered all our questions, ran us through a smooth and quick process, and was very fair on pricing. And so those are the referrals I would rather have. Or, you know, to the very least, they can just text and say, hey, this is my car guy or car girl. He took really good care of us. He's the one that we just bought the Explorer off of. I gave him your number. He's going to be calling you. So I would rather have a quality referral and really knowing that you earn that referral rather than just asking for names, because I was never a cold caller. And I wouldn't want just 100 generic names out of somebody's phone to where 97 of them probably don't want me calling them or contacting them. I'd rather have 10 quality referrals where I'll get 7 on the phone and probably sell half of those people.
All right. Next question is, how do you overcome service problems? And that one came in when you were actually talking about dealing with, responding to a customer who had an issue in service as the same way you would as a hot new lead. So I'm guessing that they're probably talking about, somebody that has an issue with the service department. What do you say to that person?
Yeah, absolutely. And we dealt with this quite a bit at the store I was at, because we were such a high volume store. We were doing 500 to 700 a month between new and used, and the facility really wasn't set up for that. So it was a big burden on service. So what I would do is when the customer called, I'd call back, like I said, be enthusiastic. Hey, Mr. Ankney, how are you? How's the family? How are you enjoying your vehicle? Oh, I'm not very happy, And have them explain to us in thorough detail what exactly they're upset about, right? Have them explain in thorough detail what exactly they're upset about. Now, on my end, I knew how often my customers were in for service because I've seen them in the service department. I always invited them to come up and see me when they were in for service, say hello, let me get them a coffee, chit chat and catch up. So I would know how much they use service, I'd know how many vehicles they bought there, and then basically I would put a case together, right? So I would physically go back and talk to the service writer, and you know, I can give one example. And this guy, I think he only bought 2 vehicles from me, which is quite a bit, but most of my customers bought 8, 9, 10 because I was there 11 years. But he used service all the time, 90 days on the button. You know, he was a better customer to service than he was to me. And believe me, all my customers were great. So I remember going back to the service writer and saying, hey, Mr. Jones is really upset. He's bought 2 vehicles off me, but he is in here every 90 days with both vehicles, so he's in here 6 times a year. He always does the maintenance that you guys recommend. Everything that you recommend, he does. He never haggles. He just pays. So he is a better customer to you, and he's really upset about this problem. So I think if you could show him a discount in the service, maybe give him an upgrade in a loaner car or cover the loaner car, and just stay in contact with him, call him back every time you said you were going to call him back, I think that he will be happy. So what I would do is I'd investigate with the customer what was bothering them. Then I would find out about the customer, kind of put a case together, and go back and talk to the service writer, the assistant service manager, or the service manager, or if I had to take it up to the service director. You know, I tried not to go over anyone's head, and just go to bat for the customer, and then call the customer back and let them know what they should expect. Hey, Mr. Jones, I talked to Larry in service, and I told him what you were upset about, and he feels bad. So what he's going to do, he's going to get with his manager, and they're going to try and get you a discount, but he's going to call you here shortly, and they're going to do some other things for you also. And just do me a favor, Mr. Jones, just let me know if you run into any other problems, and then just let me know and make me aware when everything's all taken care of. If you could please do that for me. Customers appreciate that. And it might be a 5 or 10% discount, right? But the customer's happy now, to where you could have lost that customer in service forever. You could have got a bad survey, and you know, one unhappy customer is going to tell 10 people, and now he's a happy customer, and he's going to tell 4 people how he got this great discount. His salesperson called him back right away. Service jumped on top of it and took care of him. So it's a lot of things, just doing the little things. I mean, we don't need to give the guy a free transmission. We don't need to, give them all this extra stuff. But if we just jump on top of it right away, time makes everything worse. So if we let it drag on, and they're stewing about it and thinking that we don't care, and they're thinking that they spent $35,000, $40,000, they're going back to that 85% of people think that salespeople don't care about anything but a sale. We're showing that we're there to truly serve them and take care of them.
All right. Here's the next question, Noel. Did you use an assistant when you sold?
I did not use an assistant, and that is probably one of my biggest regrets. The store I was at, they just wouldn't invest anything in an assistant, and I was just always worried of training somebody, paying them, and then having them move along. But now that I look in hindsight, and some salespeople that I talk to that are friends or clients that put up high numbers, I say get an assistant. I think if you want to do high volume, you should definitely have an assistant. I never did have an assistant and that is one of the biggest regrets I have about my retail career, and I can't even imagine the kind of numbers I would have put up if I did have an assistant. So the money and time I was afraid of investing was simply that it would have been an investment, and it would have made my career more successful and my days easier, and it'd make it easier for me to focus on what it took to sell cars rather than some of the details that we have to do that I could have delegated to somebody.
All right. It looks like that's the last question that we have right now. If somebody else has a question that you would like Noel to answer for you, please type it in now. I do have the box open, so if you type it in, I will see it. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me or Noel. Noel, you mind sharing your email address?
No, in fact, it is my name, Noel, at nwnaSalesTraining.com. So if you look at the last slide picture, it has my website. My email address is my name, Noel, at that website address.
Great. And everybody that's on the call, a couple people had asked, if this would be available to share with people that maybe couldn't make the call. The answer to that question is yes. I am recording the webinar right now, and I will make it. It'll be posted to AutoSuccess webinars on Facebook later today. And if you just one more time, if you haven't joined that group yet, please do. If you have a topic that you'd like for me to cover in the future, just go on there and message me or call me or email me or go on AutoSuccess webinars and let me know what you'd like to see. If there's a person that you feel would be very valuable for others to have on as a guest, please let me know. So yeah, go join AutoSuccess webinars. Noel, I appreciate you taking the time to join us today. And everybody on the call, if you love these webinars, tell the people in your dealership about them and invite them to come. We do a couple a week. Noel, is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience before we let them go today?
Well, first off, thank you for having me. And one quick question also is, I had a lot of people who are in sales and said, hey, I might get busy with the customer or what have you. Is that the only place they can catch this, is the AutoSuccess webinars group?
Well, it'll be an AutoSuccess webinars group. If I'll send you the link, so if you guys want to email Noel, or you can email me, and I can send you a link. I also posted to AutoSuccess. I posted onto our YouTube channel, and so it'll be floating around in a lot of places. But if you can't find it and you want it, just reach out to one of the two of us, and we will get it for you.
Perfect. No, I'd appreciate that, because I know a lot of people that wanted to catch this, and they were just worried about getting a customer or they had a packed day. Yeah, so thanks again for having me, Brian. I appreciate it. It's been great knowing you. It was great seeing you at NADA as always. And I always have people ask me how you did it. How do you become so successful in car sales? And believe me, I know people that are way more successful than I was in car sales. And car sales, as my GM used to say, is a tough way to make an easy living. But I always teach sales is a long game. And don't try and fast track your career. But if you do the steps, you create the processes, you find a good home, and you just truly, like today's title was, and I thought that was a great title for Valentine's Day, but to be a successful salesperson, you have to have a love affair with your job and your customers. And that's not just a title, that's a philosophy, and that's a goal. And that's the mentality that you have to have every day when you go into work. And I remember when I sold cars, I would tell my customers, I don't want to sell you one vehicle, I want to sell you 10 vehicles, and I want to sell everyone 10 vehicles. And that was my mentality, and that was my goal, and that was my objective. And honestly, towards the end of my career, I talk about this often, I used to keep a 3x5 card on everybody, just because handwriting down their information made it sink in my head better, deeper. But I would write how many cars were sold in that household. And towards the end of my career, it was 8, 10, 11, 15. So my objective, my goal, and what I told my customers became true because I did have a love affair with my career, with my job, with my dealership, with my product, and most importantly, with my customers. And that showed in my actions, how I handled myself, and so that is what made me successful.
Well, great. No, great work. This was a great webinar. Glad to have you back on, and I'm sure we'll have you on again in the future. Everyone, if you loved what you saw, tell people about it. You know, I love that, Noel. I don't want to just have you come to 10 of my webinars. I want everybody you know to come to 10 of my webinars. So
right, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take that one from you, Noel. I like that. Thanks for coming, man. I hope to see you again soon. And hey, everybody, good luck selling.
Thank you for having me, Brian. My pleasure. I look forward to coming back.
All right, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Goodbye.